In this video, we'll learn about the artwork shaping tools, and those are found up at the top in the green tool group. Currently, it's dim, and that simply means we'll need to do something before we can use this tool. In this case, I think it means we need to have some artwork that we want to, kind of either trim or weld. The idea is if you have more than one piece of artwork. So I'm going to draw a simple ellipse and maybe just add on top of that like a simple triangle. And so here I have two artwork shapes that touch each other. And just so you know, whenever you have a piece of artwork, if you select it, you can choose here in the properties box to fill it in and click apply, and that will show it as a solid color. You can also find that up here in the top, where if I click on this ellipse in the floating toolbar, I can click on fill to fill that in. If I uncheck the fill, it will show it as an outline, and then if I'm here with the pen width, you can change the pen width to be wider, from 0 to 2.2 pen width. It makes the line more bold, but it doesn't really change it in any way. It just up here, it's a setting, pen width. If you type it in as 0, you'll see the thinnest of lines, and you can make them thicker, but it doesn't change when you convert to embroidery, whether it's pen width 1 or 2 or 3. It's really just about the artwork. But I wanted to show that you can show your artwork both filled in and outlined. I'll turn them to outlines for this demonstration so you can see kind of more clearly what happens. But the idea is if you select more than one piece of artwork, so now we have both the circle and the triangle selected, and notice that now my shaping tools do become available, and it says weld, but if I click on the button beside the tool, there is trim, weld, intersect, and exclude. These are the options. And so if I choose trim, what happens is whichever shape is on top will trim the shape that's underneath. And so if I look right now, if I actually move that triangle away, you'll see that the circle was trimmed where that triangle was on top of it. And that's the idea. So now I can draw another shape. And so now we have the circle, and it's on top of the triangle. And so if I select that, not circle, but ellipse and that triangle, if I come to the tools here, if I use trim, now it's going to be the triangle, or the circle, sorry, that's trimming off of the triangle. So it's whichever shape is on top in the sequence, which will do the kind of like taking the trim off of the other shape. Let's go ahead and add a square that overlaps the circle. And so we know that the circle is first and the square is on top. When I select them, if I choose the weld option, I don't think it matters which one's on top, because what it does is it unites them together to be one common shape, and so now there's one shape that's kind of part oval and part square. And this is the idea that you can weld your shapes together, or you can use those shapes to trim each other. And so now if I take this sort of whatever shape that is now, and I put it, and so three-dimensionally in my sequence, it's the sort of circle and square that are on top of the kind of other little shape here. Well, now I'm going to select them all. And now I'm going to choose the third option, which is intersect. And you can kind of tell from the image of intersect what you're going to get. You're going to get the piece that's in the middle, right? So if I choose intersect, everything goes away except for the area where the two shapes kind of overlap. Let me hit undo to kind of go back to that. So you can see what it made, right? Because there was really originally this piece here, and there was this piece here. And when you select them both and you choose intersect, then it will create the common area that's unique to both of them. And if I undo, so we're back to, it hasn't happened yet, then the opposite of intersect is exclude. And so with exclude, it will remove the areas where they intersect, and it will make two shapes that have none of that area voided in. Yeah. So perhaps if I put those back together and then maybe show it as a solid color, you kind of see more clearly what exclude did. It took the piece out. So those are the artwork shaping tools. And again, they really don't come up until you have two artworks that are both selected. And then your choices are to trim them, weld them, intersect, or exclude.